Dr. Peter Gayayev died on November 17, 2020, aged 79. No mention of his passing can be found in Russian news outlets, and consequently nothing of the news has yet reached the interested public in the West. Dr. Gayayev's life and achievements are too profound and significant to quietly go back to normal. His discoveries have the potential to change our whole perception of life and existence for the better. In this book, it is said that future, quote, bioengineers will have the ability to transmit a genetic code by laser engineering to members of another race. And that, quote, man will be able to understand this transfer principle by employing a light beam with a specific wavelengths on a chromosome. Peter Gayayev's work and legacy is groundbreaking. Not only did he show that the living organism's genetic information is unified in what he calls a chromosome continuum, a kind of stable wave train that travels throughout the organism along the highly ordered geometric structure of the DNA molecule. This grid or quasi-crystalline gel state stores the genetic information in form of electromagnetic and acoustic holograms, which he recognized as the true source of the blueprints of life and biological function. What is more, the spectrum of this electromagnetic holographic code can be captured through laser interferometry using a broadband laser that is focused onto the DNA, which is equally laser-like in its highly coherent photon emissions. In this way, an electromagnetic interference pattern is created that can be stored and transmitted. This means genetic information can be transmitted or teleported through light, even over a distance. The positive as well as negative implications are not difficult to grasp. Pathogenic organisms could theoretically be radiated over any field of crops from an airplane. And in fact, this has been done. It makes one think about the current viral pathogens going around the world. Gayayev was completely aware of the potential misuse of his discoveries and had always vehemently objected to any such practices. His own experiments, in contrast, were looking to obtain the holographic information of healthy cells and organs. And when those are radiated onto diseased cells, astonishing healing and longevity can be created. Famous is his experiment with rats that received a pancreatic poisoning. The genetic information of healthy pancreas cells were retransmitted by laser, and the animals were programmed back to health. Remarkably, Gayayev narrates that after this breakthrough had been made, he returned to the laboratory one morning and found all equipment, research results, and documentation removed. The lab was empty. Gayayev also demonstrated that there is a direct correlation between the genetic code and the structure of language, which led to his formulation of linguistic wave genetics, literally the resonance between human language and the genome. Or put simply, DNA can be coded by language or words. For Gayayev, the current and outdated paradigm of molecular genetics, including CRISPR techniques and gene modification, would always lead to severe consequences and possibly irreparable damage, because the model is incomplete and erroneous, as it ignores the quantum optical and wave linguistic principles of DNA. Dr. Peter Gayayev's discoveries and those of academicians Kasnachev and Trofimov, Gennady Shipov, Hartmut Müller, Fritz Popp, Luc Montagnier, Jacques Benveniste, Carlo Ventura, and many others are a complete paradigm shift that will one day give rise to a totally new understanding of both the biosphere as well as the noosphere. With what is going on right now in so-called biosafety laboratories and with the pharmacological race to produce untested next-generation DNA vaccines, this great and independent researcher and pioneer of life sciences could not have died at a more critical and precarious moment in the history of medicine. Gayayev's last article was dedicated to this question of the appropriate response to fighting COVID-19. He was convinced that the quantum biological approach would offer much more effective cures and safe immunization without side effects.